J-Moore, the very best reviews. Tell them none can contest, we gon'
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Got a couple of topics to talk about today. Break it on down. It's a lot of things going on. It's so much news and stories every day. It's hard to keep up with them, and it's hard to figure out which ones you're gonna be able to digest and get some info on. So I really, if you all are similar in my situation, you probably feel bombarded with a lot of news and topics all the time. It's hard to keep up with, and you got to read so much different stories to see who's giving the full story, so to speak. It can just be a lot sometimes. So, anyway. One of the topics that's been up in the air lately is about these tariffs. And a lot of people voted for Trump and felt that the tariffs would be a good thing, not really understanding that the tariffs are passed on to the consumer and to American businesses. And it's a lot of people now realizing that and upset. Stock market been taking a huge hit, and a lot of businesses experiencing some tough times. So Trump today, President Trump President Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs today. And the problem with this also is that businesses need to make plans for their business supply chain, different things, etc. And if every 90 days or 30 days, you don't know what may or may not happen, it could just basically pause business and make people not do anything until they see what's happening, which is bad for everybody else. And he announced a 90-day pause on everybody except China, which, and then today's economy, most things come from China. Now, as far as, and then they said martial law, I'm going to bring this up also. And as far as the China, the tariffs and everything is so much more expensive for people and unaffordable, and the stock market and everything, that he had to pretty much put a pause on it, because I'm pretty sure a lot of billionaires and friends are upset about them losing money. For some reason, this article is not loading up, but yeah, they were all there. I got another article here to say billionaires lost $100 billion last week, $100 billion in wealth. And so I'm pretty sure they got upset on that one. Now, we'll see what happens, because truthfully, this ain't no good way to do business or run a country, because nobody knows what to expect, what price is going to be. It's hard to move forward with that type of stuff. So with that being said, we'll see. I'm about to get into this other story they say about martial law, which that's something that's really scary to me as well. Let me get into the comments right quick. Give a shout out to Big Bird. Appreciate you for coming through. Damian Kenny, what's good, brother? How you doing, fam? Appreciate you for coming through. I'm glad y'all appreciate the content. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, Big Bird. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I may not have as big of a audience or different as other channels, but I know the people that come through, y'all are real, and I try to keep it real all the time. So I appreciate y'all for coming through. Rashonda, what's good, mama? How you feeling? What's up with you? Mellow fellow, what's good, my brother? How you feeling, fam? What's good? What's good? Bello fellow, you funny, man. What was the results? You gotta be interested now. All right. Now, this article that's worrying to me even more is that Trump, it's a rumor that he will declare martial law on April 20th after invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807. Why are these articles not loading up? I hope this ain't true. Why is it not? They don't want me to talk about it. Why is it not? Oh my goodness. I'll just do it this way. I'll just go to a different site and type it in. And let's see. Hey, mellow fella, you funny, man. The real Dwayne Scott, what's popping with you, man? I appreciate you coming through. Pepper, what's up? Hey, I'm glad you caught it too. And also, I'm gonna put the link in tonight if anybody want to talk about some of these topics and stuff. Damian Kenny, you say people need to understand this country was founded by European settlers, either fleeing persecution or looking to expand their influence and interests. America was founded to a business found funded founded to a business experiment. Uh, I would say business and religious experiment, but yeah, I can see that. Damian Kenny, American citizens and workers are meant to be commodity. Uh, I think American citizens and workers were made to be mindless workers. That's why the education system is the way it is, make you smart enough to work in the factories, but too dumb to get out of the trap that you were put in, especially public school. So I definitely don't think that it's made to make everybody smarter, because then who would be the workers? Who would work at Taco Bell? Not this Taco Bell, but if everybody was able to be the boss, well, who would work? So now, in reality, everybody's not going to be smart enough or want to be a boss and everything. So, those type of things are not, that's in theory. But let's see. The real Dwayne Scott. You say Trump is trying his best to form a regime and become a dictator. Yeah, trying his best. You mean he doing it? But this has been happening for what, 8 years now? So, and then a lot of people think like Trump or Elon Musk are trying to break down the system or this or that, whereas they don't realize that if they are closing agencies that just so happen to be investigating them, or putting different people at the head of agencies that's investigating them. Now, to a certain extent, maybe some of this stuff is overdone. Some things maybe I just don't understand. And I know it's a lot of things I don't understand. For example, they were putting one of the cases on Trump about what, that he overvalued and he also undervalued different properties. And then what, paid this or didn't pay, or got a loan and didn't get it. I don't understand, because from what I did see, I think they did get the money back. It's like what, he overinflated the value so that he can get more of a loan, but then the loan, I believe, was paid back. It was complicated, but you would think it would be more of something other than, I don't know. It was a lot of charges though. So who knows? But as far as how he operates and only giving people jobs that are loyal or that won't push back, That's the move of a dictator. You don't have anything but yes men. And also, if anybody speaks out against in Congress or whatever the case, they don't have the power to push back like they should, because their voters in their districts want him more than them. So if he say, hey, vote for this other person instead of them because they don't support me, they'll do it and put them out of office. So in a way, he jumped over the checks and balances. And it's really the people's fault, because if the people weren't so fanatical, is you know what the real problem is that people, and I'm saying people as in people in general, like a celebrity. They believe in a celebrity. And the show The Apprentice was the perfect show for someone like him to want to move into the presidency, because that's a show. Of course, we all know reality shows are scripted, and that's a show that has him almost like a president. You know, he's the president of the Trump empire in the show, and you're fired. He make all the right moves, and people trying to work for him. It's the greatest opportunity, and he's the deal maker. And for it running so long, I think people believed it. They didn't realize like Trump University or Trump Steaks or all the different businesses and things that go. None of that reality mattered, and the fact that he was the man, and all of this other stuff. I think a lot of people really bought into that and believed it. And me, I never really bought into like celebrityism. Now, I will admit, around the year 2099, Trump had a much better reputation overall in the public. Now, the public didn't know about all the we knew about some of the bankruptcies, but this is before the show Apprentice, and uh, you know, before the internet, where everybody knew about all the racist stuff that happened with him and his daddy and this and that. But around that time, I thought he was a good businessman. I didn't know all the bad business stuff that was happening then, but I would have thought around 99 or 2000 he would have been better than George Bush, but looking back at it now, probably not. Probably not. Damian Kenny say Social Security numbers and birth certificate are This is not true. This is a rumor that's been put out there for a long time. It says Social Security number and birth certificates are promissory notes. The Revolutionary War ended because founding fathers agreed to take taxes to the crown of the UK. UK taxes are a part of the national debt. All right, you did couple different subjects in there. One, this social security numbers and birth certificates, and then this, if I remember correctly, ties into the theory that what it's like is credit on people's names, or they have a certain amount of secret accounts with people, money, or that we should generate to do this. From what I have seen and looked into, I mean, of course, ain't like I know it all, but that hasn't been proven to have any truth with that, as far as like a promissory note, because that's like a loan, an IOU or something on your name or something. It don't. Maybe they have a lot of different things. Like if you were born in this time period, this year, this month, and this social and this zip code, then you probably have the potential of this, that, and the other. But I don't think, because I know they have actuary tables that they can tell if you were born in this time period or whatever, how long you may live. So I could see maybe if they had something with a projected income or something for people in whatever areas, but that's so hard to prove and to do and things. I don't know. Now, as far as the founding fathers agreed to take taxes to the crown, I haven't heard this. I don't know if this is true. you actually said something I've never heard, and I thought I'd be into some conspiracies. I did hear that it was an agreement. It's a conspiracy out there agreement that the United States was like a subsidy and things. I don't know. I don't think so, because keep in mind, I believe it was what? The War of 1812. We all remember that one, right? But didn't Great Britain come back for round two and even burn the White House? So if they had agreed in the first one, why would they come back and then try to fight again? If it was agreed after the first one that, all right, well, we'll just take the money. What, the check didn't clear, so they burnt the White House down. So I don't think that is maybe the case, at least not in that period. Now, maybe around World War One, World War Two, maybe new arrangements was made. I don't know. Possibly. We'll see. Damian Kenny, you say in some ways celebrity worship is true. California had a Terminator mayor. That's true. But Pastor, what? Pastor Mariah Carey is very popular and has run for office. She has not won yet. Oh, pop star. Mariah Carey, she ran for office. I didn't know that. But celebrity worship, and also what that really is. See, I ain't sitting here about to say I'm a preacher, or that I'm, the one in the Bible thumping it the hardest, but it does tell you a lot of stuff. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And what is celebrity another name for? What's the name of that show? American Idol. Idol worship, and people be worshiping and thinking that these people or this or that are going to save us, or like what people are calling Trump now, daddy's home, daddy's in office now. This who what? And I be seeing grown men say that on podcasts and stuff. Ain't no way in the world I would be saying that about that. I ain't said daddy since childhood. I'd say dad, unless I'm being funny. You my daddy. Hey, daddy. But as far as, yeah, I need a daddy to take control of this country. What? So people feel, I think this is something inside of human beings, wanting a leader or something, wanting somebody to follow or worship, which I think is probably why we have religion. But some people, that's not good enough. They need something they can see, touch, feel, talk to. And that's a dark, dark path right there, boy. So, oh, you say corn. Oh, okay. I know what you say. P Star is in the Pino movies. I got you. X-rated movies. Mariah Carey has run for governor of California twice. Well, I think she's trying to go for a long, long haul, so to speak, on that one. But it ain't illegal to run. Anyway, moving on. It's a lot of craziness going on. It's another news story coming out. That they may even try to deport U.S. citizens. Let me find where that's at. And also the IRS is working with ICE. So if somebody was illegal and they filed a tax return, they about to snitch on them. That's messed up. That's crazy. And I think they was telling people to go ahead and file tax returns, because it would never happen. And now it is. Before I get to that, it is a news story just came out about a record producer that died in the Bahamas looked like at Atlantis Resort. And they said that he was found dead on a private beach after being accused of spitting on staff. You spit on me, I'll kill you. Better watch who you spit on. It says a music producer from Maryland was found dead in the Bahamas hours after allegedly being reported to the police for spitting on restaurant workers at the five-star resort. It says Denari McAlmont, 23. He traveled to the Bahamas with his parents on Friday, stayed at Atlanta's resort, and it says around 12 hours after touching down for the family getaway. Officials said McAlmont's body was found at approximately with no vital life signs Saturday on the shoreline. You know what, man? First of all, when this was built, I used to work in the travel and tourism industry for Radisson. And man, this bridge right here, when it was built, this is expensive, like luxury resort suites in this bridge that go between the buildings. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, and them had partied hard down there, or whatever. This is like early 2000. Anyway, they got like a slide that goes through like a shark tank waters and different stuff. Atlanta's is real nice. But here's what I was about to say. And this is something I didn't know until as I got older. Be careful, man. Go in other countries because it ain't nothing like America. A lot of people do not have appreciation for America. They ain't traveled, but people go into the Bahamas or other places, then stuff happened. You can't get information that easy. Your family can't find out information that easy. Police, different laws, different things. It ain't that easy, man. So that's the thing. When you traveling abroad, make sure you healthy and got your stuff together, because man, ain't that easy getting help and getting info and different things. So, you know, you gotta be safe out there. Let's see. Let me go to this other one, this other story I had. Bill Gates. How would you feel if y'all was one of Bill Gates' kids and he said he ain't gonna leave none of his $108 billion to you when he die? That's kind of jacked up. I mean, not that you need his money. I'm sure they probably are millionaires anyway. Just from that little pocket change, they probably find a million or two in his damn spare pants. But 108 billion, and he said, what? He don't want to leave no money because then they won't work. Like, man, they 40, 50 years old. It says billionaire Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates and his wife. They got three kids: 28-year-old Jennifer, a 25-year-old Rory, and Phoebe that's 22. I guess he got young kids considering he got a 22-year-old. Shit, my son 21. Bill was getting it in at the same time I was. It's unwise to leave all his and Melinda's money to their children, saying it distorts anything they might do and prevents them from creating their own path in life. Hey man, you better drop that wallet. The hell wrong with you? So you gonna give it to other people? It says how much he gonna leave, man. How much is this dude gonna leave them? And I mean, I get it, but what it's a parent's duty to save everything for their kids, to which he said everybody gets to decide on that. In my case, my kids got a great upbringing and education, but less than 1% of the total wealth. He said, so 1% might sound stingy, but if you do the math, it's about $1 billion. So out of 108 billion, he'll leave them 1 billion. I mean, ain't like they exactly broke, but he say it's not a dynasty. I'm not asking them to run Microsoft. I want to give them a chance to have their own earnings and success and not be overshadowed by the incredible luck and good fortune I had. First of all, that's never going to happen. Never. What, you gave all the money away? Then they'll be looked at as they father had all this money and didn't leave them none and said he gave them an education. So there is no way that you could be Bill Gates' child and not have that overshadow you to a certain extent, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, good thing she don't look like him, but that's like Elon Musk kids will always they'll always be tied to Elon Musk. And with that being said, this is the type of stuff I know people like my people that I would know wish we could do for our kids. That way we never had to be in. But then again, you got a point. Some people grow up and have too much and then they take it for granted or grow up being little pricks. So it is what it is. All right, let's see. What's this other Obama's? Oh, let's see. Where is that thing about the citizens? All right, here it is right here. So it says White House confirms that Trump is looking for ways to deport citizens. So let's get into this. Because what if you do something and they don't like you? They just send you to another country. What? First of all, we supposed to be free from cruel and unusual punishment according to the Constitution. So that's very unusual. You do a crime, and next thing you know, you in another country in Siberia or something. You in El Salvador. Say White House press secretary uh, Caroline Levitt said Tuesday President Trump is exploring legal pathways to deport U.S. citizens to El Salvador, where they already arranged to house deported immigrants in a prison known for its human rights abuses. It says that the effort would be limited to people who have committed major crimes. But Trump has also mentioned the possibility of sending people who commit lesser offenses abroad. Any such move on the part of the Trump administration is certain to be challenged in court. It is also not clear what legal authority could be used to justify expelling U.S. citizens from their homeland. These would be heinous, violent criminals who have broken our nation's laws repeatedly. These are violent, repeat offenders on American streets. Well, if they're violent, repeat offenders, they normally are in prison. They're not on American streets. See, they say stuff like this to scare people. And man, let me tell you something. White folks in America are some of the scaredest people that ever existed on earth. They scared, boy, of a lot of stuff. I mean, good grief. The president has said if it's legal, if there is a legal pathway to do that, he's not sure. It's not a legal way. This ain't the UK. I'm starting to buy in with Damon Kitty now. This is the. That's what they did. That's how Australia was created, sending criminals to a whole nother land, which actually turned out to be better than where they left because Australia got better weather, much better place than old rainy, cold UK. But anyway, it says he told reporters aboard Air Force One on Sunday that he loves the idea of removing U.S. citizens, adding that it would be an honor to send them to El Salvadorian President Bukele. What? He said he's an eager partner in Trump's schemes. Trump also proposed the idea in March when Tesla vehicles were being vandalized and set ablaze in protest of Elon Musk's heavy-handed involvement in the Doge. It says, what I look forward to watching the sick terrorist thugs get 20-year jail sentences for what they are doing to Elon Musk and Tesla. Perhaps they could serve them in the prisons of El Salvador, which have become so recently famous for such lovely conditions. I'll say one thing, Trump do be funny sometimes, talking smack, but you're saying that the people that are burning a damn car, a Tesla car, that's what did it? Wait, let me reread this. Sick terrorist thugs get 20-year jail sentence for what they do to Elon Musk and Tesla. What about the people that raided the Capitol January 6th? They were tourists, though, right? They all got a pardon for what they did to the United States government. Not no damn cars in a private company. What? They attacked the United States government. And that was cool. But you mess with a car of my friend, you terrorists, we're gonna send you away. Gotta put you in jail. You gotta understand 20 years on the Tesla is unacceptable. What in the world? This is insane. Uh I think this might be one of the scariest things he's proposed. Because what are the if this was to go, what are the criteria? It's a very major heinous crimes, which could be what? Anything. If they decided, and then you could be sent to what if you was selling drugs or selling weed in a city, the state that's not legal, and they said that's heinous, and they send you to El Salvador. You know what? I wonder if this would in a way. I know it won't, because that's going to the argument that people say uh criminals don't do crimes because they don't want to do the time. And in my experience, most criminals don't be like, well, I was gonna shoot this person, but I don't want to get the electric chair. Or they be thinking I was gonna sell drugs, but I don't want to get this. People mostly think they won't get away with it, or they didn't even think about it in the moment and do stuff. So to think that it would be less crime because you could get sent to another country, I don't believe that. I think people will still do stuff, and they'll think they won't get caught or it won't happen to me. And then when it does, they'll be surprised and get lawyers and complain like they should. But yeah, that's wow right there, man. Wow. I'm telling you. I've been to a couple other countries, not many. It's nothing worse than being sent somewhere that you have no connections, no history, no help, no money, no friends. We are really vulnerable as people, man. Like when you by yourself and don't have resources, you are weak in life. We are strong together. And they basically made everybody on their own out here in the world and looking at phones instead of being together, and everybody can get picked off on their own. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Pepper, hey, I wouldn't put it past them. Pepper said those prisons might be privately owned by Americans, which would make it even worse. But I wouldn't put it past them. Damian Kenny, you said Australia was a penal colony. Yep. For the UK. Sure was. So imagine you did something, your family can't visit you. See, that's probably why they got people doing the video conference visiting now, so that they could put your ass anywhere and your family wouldn't even know. They'd just be video chatting, not knowing you in El Salvador. Damien Kitty, you say Jeff Bezos, Amazon head ex-wife, got billions in divorce and has donated over $2 billion to charities. Life imitating art, as in Brewster's Millions. Didn't you know? Didn't know your granddaddy was a. I know. Hey, Brewster's Millions. That's a Richard Pryor old school movie, which was pretty good, pretty funny. Not realistic, but you pulled out a Brewster's Millions reference. uh, I don't know, man. I think sometimes they give away that money because it's a tax incentive. Either you gonna give 2 billion to the government, and what he gonna do with it? Buy bombs and missiles, or give it to some charities where you know where it went. And then if you start up the charities and then donate to your charities you started, you basically just keeping your money. So, they got so many ways and tricks up their sleeves to make things work out that it's crazy. The real Dwayne Scott, Jay, you say Congress is going to have to get this individual and his administration out of office because he has already caused irreparable damage to this country. I'm not for martial law nor Jim Crow segregation. I know, right? Yeah. And the irreparable damage, and we ain't necessarily even talking about to people's mind or the faith in the government, just gutting out and destroying certain institutions that would take a long time to rehire, retrain. It's just it's getting bad out there, and it just take a little bit of time before it hits home how bad it is. But yeah, and Congress is not going to do it because earlier I explained why, which is that the voters for members of Congress listen to him more than them. So say these people supposed to be closer to home. They supposed to be in people's districts, but they listening to what Trump say. So if they don't have loyalty to Trump, he'll go into their districts and oppose somebody to run against them and tell people he's not loyal. He doesn't listen. Not one of the team players. Not gonna do it. Which then makes them weak because all they want is power and all they want is their money. So they're not trying to keep him and do their job. They trying to get theirs, which makes this a very bad situation when everybody trying to get theirs when you're supposed to be in a job for service. If you're trying to get yours, you can get yours in the private sector, but everybody that really knows, they know big money is in the government. Big money is in the government. Why else would a billionaire want to go and get a job as president that pay a couple $100,000? That's stupid. Nobody would do this. Nobody. So obviously, it's a lot of hidden money in there, a lot of backdoor deals and stuff. And they can't really say that, but who else? That's like millionaires and multi-millionaires. They want to be the mayor. Why you want to be the mayor of some city with a bunch of headaches and problems when you got a successful business and money? And it's not a lot of them say, I'm here to try to fix it. I don't do it for the money. I want to fix the people. I'm here for the people. But they be lying, which, man, it take a special person to lie to people with a straight face, right in their face. I ain't never really been able to lie since I was a kid. I can lie. I know I could do it, but I don't like it. It don't feel good. Straight up. I don't like lying to nobody, man. And as being grown, that was one of the things I made a promise to myself. Unless you the cops, I ain't gonna lie. And the cops say, man, they can put you in jail. They can send you to another country. So I'm gonna say whatever you want to hear. Okay, that is not a lie, all right. But to just be lying to people for no reason and just telling stories and stuff and lying just so what people think about you, and why are you lying? Why do people lie? And a lot of people with a straight face or lie about this or lie about that. I just, oh no. Politicians to be able to lie like that, wow. I guess they just, you got to have a certain level of, you don't care who you talking to or you think less of them. Not that I think everybody is such and such, but I don't think they just need to be lied to. So that's why I ain't in politics. Stephen Harris was good, my brother. Suburbia Jones, Carl Levi was good, fam. Let's see. Obama's. This is my last little one I'm gonna get into right quick. Miguel Disler, what's good, brother? How you doing, fam? So the Obamas, I talked about this earlier, a week or two ago, that they may be having a rough patch. Well, now it's come out that they in counseling. Michelle Obama has a podcast. She recently said, because she got a podcast with her brother of all people, and somebody asked if she would be with a man that wasn't so financially secure, and she said, "Not only would I do it, I married one." So she got to throw Barack under the bus. Oh, this black man was broke, but I married his broke ass. No, I'm just playing. But she did say she married one, and she said that she valued someone that had her back and was there for her versus someone with a high income, because she was working a corporate job, a corporate lawyer, and things like that. So here's the thing. Now they're saying that they may have grown apart. I'm wondering why, how could this happen? The kids are grown, they got an empty nest. Michelle, all right, now the girls are gone. You can let me hit it from the back now. Barry, I'm not doing that nasty stuff no more. I don't know why, but I've been president. I want some of that first ass. She said, "Boy, you so nasty. You nasty, nasty." They say that they having some problems. Now, I'm wondering, like, how could this be? I mean, anything can happen, but they done been through the worst parts of life. You would think, hell, if Bill Clinton and Hillary could stay together, I mean, they could just stay together and do their own thing. Anyway, I guess they said forget that. But they have possibly, they say, a $70 million divorce speculation. Now, for those that didn't know, I don't believe they had a net worth of $1 million before they became first lady and first man of the United States, the presidency. So you see what I'm saying? It is good to be in the White House. Now, he does have a lot of money from speaking engagements, book deals. They also have been producing movies and other things. So I'm not saying that they may have got this illegitimately. I mean, he is the first black president of the United States. So book deals, speaking engagements and stuff, they could be the possibility of making a lot of money. I ain't going to trip on that. But I just think that it's unfortunate if they don't stay together, because in my recollection, they could be like what? The first black presidents and first lady, first black president, then the first divorced presidents couple or whatever. Because who else has gotten divorced that's presidents? I don't think any. Unless you're going back to James Garfield, we all remember that administration and what happened, right? In 1822. I'm just joking. I don't know. I just made that up. Y'all thought I was dropping some knowledge, didn't you? Ah, you like, damn, well, yeah, the 1822. Yeah. Nah, but I don't know who in the last, since Kennedy, who's gotten divorced in the White House. I say since Kennedy because I mean he was the first president on TV, so we got to go pre-television age. The first debate, presidential debate on TV. Anyway, I think this would be sad for a lot of couples that they may have inspired, like Jonathan Majors and Megan Good. He was looking for that Barack and Michelle love, and to see them not keep it, even though he wanted a white girl to be his Michelle Obama, he was still inspired. Hey, look here, white girl, you ain't being the right Michelle Obama, okay? You don't eat and cook cornbread. You not militant enough. What you don't get? Well, actually, I don't get any of it. What do you mean? One Journey, I agree. Sad news. Hope they work it out. Here's the thing on another reason why I say I hope they work it out. Because for a lot of people that's out there today, 21, give or take years old, that's their first president they remember. And they may, as 21-year-olds or, young adults, be thinking about marriage and different things. They may have got inspired by Obama and the first lady. And now they in the world of love and kids. And then to see that this may not work out. Not to say that people base their lives off others. I hope not. But I just think it could be sad news. Maybe people be thinking, man, you can't even be my Michelle. Michelle wasn't even Michelle for Obama. So what you gonna be? Anyway. HFG, I would be surprised if they actually got divorced, even if they secretly lived apart. I would hope they would secretly live apart before divorce. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not one to do that. So if they didn't want to do it, I can understand. I don't like saying stuff I wouldn't do. I don't like asking people to do something I wouldn't do. But at this point, I don't see the benefits in them doing that unless they wanted to move on with somebody else and be public. Other than that, I don't get it. But hey, it is what it is. Damian Kenny, Megan Good, and ex Devin Franklin are both engaged to other people. Well, Megan Good got married to Jonathan Majors. I thought they did. They got married. So, that's why I'm saying Miguel said, long as it don't turn into some Will and Jada type stuff, which that's why I say maybe they need to just go ahead and break it off, because the last thing you need is some dude talking about, yeah, you know what I'm saying, at the red table talk, we had a little, what they call it, entanglement. I was entangled all up in Michelle's backfield in motion, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Barry said it was cool. Barry said I can hit that. I'm like, cool, boss, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I got the first soldier on security detail for you, you know what I mean? He basically, I was his backup plan, you know what I mean? Yeah, that would be horrible. Horrible. If some dude came out talking about he's smashing Michelle. Whoa. You talk about scandal. Because who else could say they was taking down the first lady? First of all, most people don't want to. She probably the only one that might be taken downable. Who else? Who want to get Jill Biden? Melania. I guess Melania and Michelle. Because all the rest is so old. Hey, Melania been and cut you though. Michelle been and shot you, so they may not be the ones to play with. Let's see. Miguel, you say doubt back play that ish. Obama, he say he doubt he play that. Get that ass away from that ass. All right, that is my property. All right, we are not gonna do any bailouts for you. All right, that's my parking space. I park my black presidential limo in that garage at nightly basis. All right, all right. They call it the Beast for a reason, huh? The Beast, my black Cadillac limo. Yeah, the Beast. She ain't stick with me for the position. Or actually, she did. It was her favorite position. That's my Trump impression, because Trump always do this. It was gonna be a great deal. And they're moving on. He talk like a crossing guard. Ah. Every time I see him talking, he be doing this. And, ah, 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 ah. He's practicing his karate moves. In case Zelensky comes back, I'm ready. Block here, I'm blocked in. Ready to dance him away. Anyway. Whew. I got hot talking about that one. Let's see, is that about it, I guess? Well, what other stories is out here that I got? Let's see. Guess that's about it for tonight. Let me see. I thought I had another story. So talk about that. Say the IRS don't just want your money, they want your life. I think that deporting American citizens is really scary, man. Ain't no way I want to do that. Here's a story I kind of mentioned on another podcast that it wasn't this story, but I was talking about this person and about how weird this is. And this is a funny story. So Elon Musk, I told you guys that he claims to be the number one ranked player on this online video game called Diablo, which, if anybody has played online games, it's work. That's a job. And to be ranked seriously on any of this stuff, you have to put in hours. You have to put in hours. You can't be so damn smart that you can do 30 minutes a day and then be number one. It's impossible. And so the point is, how is he number one in the world on this game? But he's public outside doing all this, running all these business, doing all this, but you got enough time to play video game? Well, it come to find out, which this is a narcissistic trait, that he was paying people to play a video game for him, and then he would take credit for the scores and stuff as he did it. That's so weird. That is so weird. You're not playing the game. You're not watching it. You paying somebody else to play and do it. And then you take credit and say that was you that's number one, just so people would think you're some super genius that can do so much stuff. That's weird. Anyway, this dude did go and play a video game recently, and then it was online, and of course, in typical video game fashion, everybody went and kicked his ass on the game, and he got mad and quit. I'm gonna take my game home. I'm gonna turn it off and go home. Yeah. It says that the game is called Path of Exile 2. I never heard of this game, but they say that people kept attacking him and told him he has no real friends, and they just wanted to just keep killing him. Every time that he respawned, they just spammed him with some in-game chat, some rather scathing mockery of his politics and his marriage, and kept getting him killed. It says it took place on April 5th during Musk's Starlink demo. And it says that he just had to use Path of Exile 2 to demonstrate the stability and reliability of his satellite internet. But he was quickly swarmed by trolls who filled up his in-game whisper chat inbox with the following phrases repeatedly. You ruined the country just like you ruined all your marriages. Whoa. Your daughter was right. Whoa. Elon, how is it possible to look this dumb and ugly? Why is your Tesla company falling apart? You have no real friends and will die alone. Whoa. I will say the internet can be crazy. And I will say my experience on the internet is, although I've had some haters and some different experiences, for the most part, I will say I've been very blessed to be doing this almost 8 years, and usually have great people. All the people that I rock with, all of y'all watching and stuff, for the most part, I would say 99.9% has been great. I'm not a person out there, I guess, bringing this type of energy though. I don't really like try to. I don't know, man. This dude, like they say with the jobs and stuff, taking the chainsaw. Like these are people that's getting fired. People losing their jobs. It's hard for people to pay for stuff. So that's like being insensitive to what people going through. But anyway, these people are bringing in a lot of negative publicity and attention in their lives. And, the internet, look at this. Somebody typed in trans rights, trans rights. I did. This reminds me, I didn't, it says Israel killed JFK. That is something that came out I should get into, but I didn't really get enough info. But they saying that Mossad, which is their like CIA, may have had something to do with it, according to the documents. But it's not like, hey, they did it for sure. But it seemed like, so that's kind of crazy. Maybe that's why the United States keeps supporting Israel the way that they do, because hey, they took out one president, they may take out another. So that is one thing I got out of that info. But seeing them spamming his page like this reminds me that I don't have the time. I guess that this person may have copied and pasted this, but still, it's people that came on my channel when I was live before and posted a bunch of stuff in the comments. Back to back to back to back, spammed a bunch of stuff. So that has happened. But for what I've done about 1,000 live streams, give or take, and for the most part, that's very few, maybe 5 or 10 times. So anyway, I ain't bringing in the bandwidth that he is and deserve and do whatever. So anyway, I think these guys got to be careful out here in the world. I think some of these people don't realize that you're a vulnerable individual in life. You really are. I learned this growing up in Chicago that, when the drive-by era and stuff, that what could you do? Never go outside again? You know what? Get everything delivered? And even that, people can kick you in the door or shoot up the house. So it's a point where everybody, is, that United Healthcare CEO situation. Now they want to give Luigi the death penalty, and they feel this is a way to discourage people. But it doesn't. That's going back to what I was saying earlier, that people don't do crimes because the penalties. Whereas most people do these things and think they can get away with it, or it won't happen to them, or whatever the case, or they don't even think about it. I doubt if somebody gonna be the next Luigi, they change their mind because he got the death penalty. They just might have planned extra careful. Who knows? I just think it's just exactly, Miguel. It's too many haters out there, and there's crazy ones. It just is, man. In this world, you gotta be careful. I've came across people haters. I don't even know what they hating on. I don't even understand it. So imagine if you doing stuff to people or taking their jobs or doing things like, I don't get it, what it really is, because I love the psychiatry of people, why people do what they do. And what I think it is people may be insecure for whatever reason in their life, and they pick different things or people or instances to lash out and direct their anger. And instead of looking at themselves and their situations and working on it, that's what they do instead. And I guess that make them feel better. But me, it don't make me feel better. I don't want to do that. It make me feel bad to be hating on somebody for no reason. They didn't do nothing to me. So anyway, be careful out there, these people in the world, because boy, 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 it's a lot of weirdos, to to say the least. Let me get up out of here, y'all. Miguel, you say, I was saying, Jay, another thing that happened just this Monday night in DR. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. So before we go, Dominican Republic, a lot of baseball players and stuff are from Dominican Republic. One of my favorite, Pedro Martinez, he played for the Red Sox. He has some family members missing. So in the Dominican Republic, for those that don't know, I did have this article saved, I thought, but it was a party or some type of gathering at a location where I believe the floor collapsed or the roof collapsed, and the building like collapsed on a lot of people. I think up to 10, 11 people are no longer living, and it's a lot of people missing. And so with that being said, again, the United States has building codes. Now, does everybody follow it? This, that, and the other? Maybe, maybe not. But the point I was going to say is other countries don't. And I've been, well, I can't say, well, I have seen this in person. But what I was going to say is I've seen on, was it Instagram or something? But it was in India. And these people had like a wedding reception. And it was like on the ballroom floor or something. And they had, so that's why we have stuff like the fire department, fire codes, regulations, different stuff. Because you put in too many people in certain places, they can die. I did see a bunch of people die in this fire. It wasn't a fire. It was a nightclub in Chicago, and it was an upstairs nightclub. I could Google this, and it'll come up. And somebody in there sprayed mace or something. And I worked nights at UPS, so I was coming home from work at like 4 a.m, and this was like downtown Chicago. And I don't know why I was going this way. I might have been going to the projects to get some weed because the projects had weed 24 hours a day back then. And so, hey, I got off work. I wanted to smoke. Anyway, I rolled by there. This is like in 2002 or 2001, 2003, something like that. And whatever, somebody sprayed mace or the fight, then everybody tried to get out of the club. And this was in the summertime. And you know how places, so it was upstairs. So they had to come down the stairs. People running, falling down the stairs, trample each other. And you know how it'd be doors like this, but this door doesn't open, only this door opens. The people fell and smashed up between the doors that they couldn't get out. And it was like people smashed half of their body in the door and half out. And they like, help, I can't breathe. But it's that, man, so many people died in that. And I rolled past and I'm like, what in the world? Because there was so many police and ambulance and all this stuff going on. And I was like, what? And then when I got home, I turned on the news. And wow, I'm about to look and see that. But yeah, that is very rare in America. But in other countries, boy, you gotta be careful. You could be at the wrong spot and the floor could collapse, or they could have it overpacked, or no good way to exit. Because one of the things that happened was, how and you're supposed to have a exit sign lit up, and it usually in red to say exit. Well, the light was out, and so everybody tried to run out the entrance that they came in, where some people could have went out the back door and been fine. But everybody tried to run out that front entrance, and that's why so many people died. I think like 16 people died. Yeah. Now, this is the Dominican Republic nightclub catastrophe. And when I was in Panama, I was in some real shady nightclubs, and strip clubs. Yeah, they was some real nice ones too. I'm talking about women. I'm like, You could be a supermodel in America. But you know, I doubt the building codes were followed. Okay. I'm glad it wasn't packed. We could have failed through. But they say that it's claimed 124 lives. Whoa. Whoa. And when I first heard of this, it was only like 20. 124. It says that it collapsed on Tuesday. And for 2 days, families are gathered outside the records of the Jet Set Club in Santo Domingo, anxious for info about their relatives. Wow. Just imagine that 124 people in one club die in America. That is a lot of people at one time. Say my 15-year-old son is devastated, and the little one, who is 9, remains calm because we told him his mom is at work. Wow. Wow. They say after 155 people were rescued from the rubble and transferred to hospitals. So they had about 300 people in there, and half of them made it, half of them didn't. Yeah, and you know what, man? That's the reality of life. It's very random. Very random. And those people going to deal with that the rest of their life, that they made it and these people didn't. They call it what? Survivor's remorse or whatever. But yeah, that right there, that's random for real. It say the tragedy unfolded during a concert by popular Dominican merengue singer Ruby Perez. I wonder if she made it. It said the event had politicians, athletes, and other prominent figures. It turned into a nightmare after midnight as the roof suddenly collapsed. The roof fell on them. Perez was one of the victims. Oh no. Authorities confirmed his body was recovered. Oh no, they killed him. Dang. Imagine like if that was Beyonce and the roof fell on her. That would be, oh no. Pitcher Octavio Dotel and slugger Tony Blanco, both former MLB players, were also killed. Another victim was Nelsie Cruz, governor of the northern Monte Cristi province. President Luis Abinader said Cruz was the sister of former MLB player Nelson Cruz. I remember Nelson Cruz, a 7-time All-Star. The son of Public Works and Communications Minister also died in the disaster. This is a tragedy for real, for real. That's horrible. Wow. I know I always say I'm saying something like I know something. I don't. But as I got older, I don't really like to go out to clubs and stuff too much no more. And of course be ready to pop cap and that, you know what I'm saying? I bust your but I don't even want to be into none of that stuff. I think that I guess I'm getting older and I guess I'm getting scared, but it's just people are getting crazier is how I see it. And I just don't like to be out sometimes at certain places at certain times because people are crazy out here, man. So this was called the E2. That was the name of the club, Epitome, the Epitome 2. And it was called the E2 Chicago Nightclub Stampede. Let's see, Wikipedia. There, they made a Wikipedia page. Here's some of the images. Look at this is how it looked with everybody jammed at the door. I saw this. This is the door. They can't get out, which I didn't understand. This is the first time I saw this, and I'm like, why they can't get out? Like half of his body was out, but so much pressure from behind, they couldn't get out. And I was like, why they right there at the door? And yeah, man, this is the club right here. This is not how it looked though. Landmark Park could deny request to demolish. Oh, they want to demolish it. 21 people died. I was thinking they should, because who would want to move in here? This ain't how it looked though, Epitome. This is not how it looked. I don't remember it looking like this. Maybe it did. I don't remember it looking like this. Maybe it did. I think it did. Maybe because it was at night and I ain't never really went by here in the daytime because this is it. So I guess it did look like that. I just never saw it at night. This Ford dealership was in Chicago for so long. I wonder if it's still there. That was there, one of the first in the city. One of the first in the city. They the way of selling cars in the dealership that started on Michigan Avenue in Chicago with the big picture windows so you can walk past and see a car in the window, the glass and all of that. Anyway, let's see, 2003. I told y'all it was 0203. I remember because I was still working at UPS. I didn't move here yet, but it's a 20 years ago this week. So this is what 2023 they made this article. Yeah. Unthinkable tragedy played out in the South Loop. 21 people were killed, dozens injured when a crush of people tried to escape the club after security guards used pepper spray to break up a fight on the dance floor. Panic spread among the hundreds of club goers as many feared they were the targets of a poison gas attack. I don't know why people, man, they darted for the exit located at the bottom of a narrow stairway that led. Oh, I know why, because this was 2003. So a lot of people have to remember shortly after 9/11, which was 2001. This only 2 years later, less than 2 years, because that was September 2001. September 2002 would have been 1 year. This was February of '03. So a year and a half, people still was tweaking, thinking it's always some type of terror attack. And because of that being in the zeitgeist, people wouldn't have did that. Had that not have happened, or had it happened today with some mace, they wouldn't have panicked like that. That's why you have to always keep a calm head and be cool in life. Because that panic over mace, they thought it was poison gas, this and that, and they ended up causing it. Now, I'm not saying sit and always be cool and don't believe the hype and then you choke out from the poison gas one day, but damn, man. I didn't know they thought it was poison gas. I thought they just was hot in there, couldn't breathe, or it was a lot. It says the Cook County judge ordered the second floor club closed, building code violations. And it says they brought involuntary manslaughter charges against the two club's owners, but they were ultimately cleared of those charges. I was about to say they didn't go to jail, which that's something, ain't it? Now, should the club owners have gone to jail? I don't know. It said instead, the owners were convicted of criminal contempt for violating the order to close the club. In 2015, the owners were sentenced to 2 years of probation in order to perform 500 hours of community service. Dozens of wrongful death and personal injury lawsuits were filed in the wake of the stampede, leading to millions of dollars in settlement payments. Oh, wow. But now, 2 decades, one lawsuit tied to the disaster remains pending. Wow, 20 years they still had a what? The suit was filed in federal court in 2018 by Mary and Howard Ray, the parents of a 24-year-old Deshaun Ray who was killed in the stampede. They alleged that during the litigation, their initial wrongful death suit, the city did not produce all the footage that was collected by the surveillance cameras. What we know at this point is that there is a witness that claims that there are more videotapes available than what was made. And what are they trying to? Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, I guess that was a update for myself as well as everybody listening. But damn, man, I should do a little video about that tragic story. It's a lot of little topics and videos and stuff I want to do. I see a lot of YouTubers make videos about different like stories or true crime and stuff. And I think I could do some good videos like that, but it's just a little more difficult for me with the editing and time and different things. So we'll see. Hopefully some things play out and I can make a couple different things this coming few months. So anyway, tomorrow I'll be back live. We'll talk about raising Canaan and what to expect on that next episode. I appreciate y'all staying up. Another late night news, real talk, and you know, everybody be safe out there. Some wild out there in these streets, as as we know, if you've been around a minute. And be careful out there because you never know, man, what may happen. Deuces, y'all be safe, and I'll see you on the next one.